All right, thank you for joining us and welcome. Thank you for, we're here tonight to present 5 weekend getaways. And I want to start off by thanking the Foxes for this wonderful idea. The 5 couples that did this had a wonderful time on these weekends. And if any of you go on these weekends, we hope you do too. We are going to take you on a tour of the Bay Area. We're going to start from the south and go up to the northeast. We're starting in Monterey, and the Mockneys will be presenting that. Moving to Capitola and the Jackmans. Next comes Palo Alto and the Michaels. My wife and I will be presenting West Marin, and the Foxes will be presenting Murphy's. Each presentation is 7 minutes long. And if you have questions during the presentation, just tap them in or type them into the chat function. After all the presentations are finished, there will be a 15-minute question and answer period. All of you tonight will be emailed a link to the Google Drive that contains all the presentations if you'd like to look back on it. So let's get started. We will go to Monterey. Mockneys, please take it off.
All right, everybody, give us a second. We're going to share our screen and get started. Let's see. I think, Oliver, do you have Sheen's screen sharing that you can share with us?
Yes. Give me one moment. Let me make you co-host, and then you should be good to go.
Just use this. Don't use the mouse for
Should be good to go now.
easier.
Okay.
Now do share screen.
Up here. This one?
You could use that one, yeah. Let's hit share down there.
Uh-oh. What happened? Hang on, people. Sorry. Bear with us.
Go.
Cannot.
No. You're sharing right now, so just go to the presentation. I think somehow you closed it.
Can you all see the presentation right now?
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome to beautiful Monterey. We really enjoy our travels down to Monterey every time we go there. It's just an hour and a half south of San Jose, depending on where you live. And one of the things that we love, let's see, is just driving in along the coast. If going back to the ice plants and the sand dunes and our first sight of the bay, it's very invigorating and it feels lovely during COVID times. As soon as you arrive in Monterey, you're going to see that we're being asked to take care of ourselves, protect ourselves from COVID, and to wear our masks. I don't know how many of you have been here, but this is just at the entrance to Monterey. Between the entrance to Monterey and Fisherman's Wharf is El Estero Park. It's a little park, and you've probably noticed the lake. It's Lake Aguajito.
Also called Dennis the Menace Park.
Right. So it's very peaceful. There's a lovely walking path. It's very easy. It's wheelchair accessible. It's stroller accessible, and just a really easy place to start. As you can see, you can do a lot of, kind of individual or small group activities right now, but you're not going to be doing any of the big gatherings or picnicking or barbecuing at the park. You can exercise along the path. So if you dress yourselves properly, you can be ready for a good workout. As you can see, you can sit and just contemplate the ducks. There are people who are fishing there. In the background, there's this lovely playground. You can also enjoy paddle boating. It's $23 a half hour for the regular paddle boats, $30 for an hour, which is a deal. A lot of people really enjoy the swan paddle boats. So it's very colorful and easy here. They're also really set up to take care of people during COVID and to get everything cleaned up between people. So once you leave Lake Estero Park, you can just walk down about half a mile, or you can drive down to Fisherman's Wharf. Now, I'm betting a lot of people have been to Fisherman's Wharf, and so that you recognize this area, and you recognize that you can wander along around the beautiful boats. One thing we found is that in this area here, where the restaurants and shopping are on Fisherman's Wharf, there are probably too many people there right now. There were too many people when we visited. So we did not go down to the restaurants and shops in this section. If you want to, you can head behind you to downtown Monterey and do shopping there. But what we did find were some other great alternatives. Mm-hmm. You can check out a lot of the historic buildings in Monterey, the Custom House here, the oldest government building in California. You can look at some of the Steinbeck facilities. But then also, if you haven't been down this in a long time, this walk from Fisherman's Wharf to Cannery Row is just wonderful. There are bikers. Again, it's very wheelchair accessible. It's an easy walk. You can walk all the way down to Cannery Row, which is a couple miles, or you can just walk part way and then return. The view along the wharf is lovely. And you can look for the tree where Monterey began. This is actually really fascinating. This tree has been here since at least the 1600s. When we leave the Fisherman's Wharf area, thanks. One of the things that we really enjoy is that Monterey boasts a lot of higher learning institutions.
Yeah, this one here is called the Middlebury Institute of International Studies. Actually, Leanne and I went to school here almost 30 years ago, and we went and got our master's degrees here. And at that time, it was called the Monterey Institute of International Studies. And this is where we met. And so this holds a special place in our hearts. It's a beautiful campus, small, intimate, but wonderful.
So as you'll see here, there are 725 students. They come from more than 50 countries. Mac moved here from India. I moved here from Washington, D.C. All of the students speak 2, 3, 4, 5 languages and have traveled the world. So if you know anybody who's really interested in studying anything global or international, this is the place to do it, and we really recommend it, and we're happy to answer questions anytime. Now, also there's this really lovely community-based garden. That's a lot of fun to look for, the Green Thumb Garden, right next door to Miss. So we really recommend to you, if you have the opportunity to go down and stay in Monterey, this place is right near Fisherman's Wharf. It's right near the Middlebury Institute, downtown Monterey, just a couple miles from Cannery Row. And it's a boutique hotel called the Hotel Pacific.
Yeah, and this is another place that I worked there at the front desk while I was a student. So I know this hotel really well.
Yeah, but it is, if you go online and you look, I think you'll really find that it's very enticing to want to stay there. Another thing off the track here is there a Jewish temple in Monterey? As there was when we went to school there, which was quite a long time ago now, there is a temple in Monterey. It's 6 miles away in Carmel Valley, a congregation, Beth Israel. It's a Reformed congregation. It does also serve conservative and Orthodox Jews in the area, and it's affiliated with URJ. So coming back to the coast here, we're going down from Monterey, just turning the corner, and we're heading down to Pacific Grove. For me, I always love to look for a great bookstore, and so we really recommend this one to you. A Room Without Books is like is like a body without a soul. So right next to the bookstore that we really enjoy is this restaurant called International Cuisine. And, you know, you'll find in Yelp, it has great reviews. You can sit outside during COVID. It's very pleasant. They have the heaters, and we recommend, you know, to look for this place. And then we're going to head down to Asilomar, lying right between Monterey and 17-mile drive on the way south to Carmel. Not enough people really spend time here at Asilomar State Beach. So you can bring your dogs. In fact, the Monterey Carmel area is very, very dog friendly. These are homes right across the street from the beach. The coastline is just beautiful. I don't know if you'll have the same chance we did to see the woman with the giant hula hoop with her headphones, and just really getting her exercise for a long time hula hooping to the sunset. Thanks so much for spending the day with us, and we hope that you will go and follow this path.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leanne and Mac. That was wonderful. One thing I forgot to mention at the top of the presentation is that after each presentation, there'll be a raffle of a local souvenir, and Oliver is going to be our raffle master. So Oliver, why don't you start with this presentation?
Absolutely. So I have everybody's name who is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a share screen, and then you'll see your names in the raffle wheel. And then I'm going to spin that, and then whoever is our lucky winner will win our first raffle prize. So,
Wow.
so I've got everybody's name in here. And here we go.
How cool is that?
I'd like a respin, please. I'm not happy with the results.
Not David Hyman, the other David.
Oh, good.
Tucker?
Woohoo!
Yep.
Oh, what did I do?
Congratulations.
This is not your control.
All right. Next up, we've got Capitola presented by the Jackmans.
Let me go ahead and give you guys control. Give me one moment. And away you go.
We're trying to find the screen share button. Hold on a sec. Hang on one sec. I'm looking for the. I don't see the screen share button on this, guys.
Should be right in the center, down at the bottom.
Tell you what, why don't you run the? Can you run the presentation?
It says you have to update to 5.0, Oliver. I don't know.
Sure. If you give me one moment, I can pull it up. Yeah, there we go. It's loading up. Give me one moment, then we can go ahead and get that started. And let me go ahead and screen share, then we'll good to go.
Sorry, it was working a second ago. I don't know why it's not working now.
No worries. So if you just want to narrate over me, and then I will go ahead and click through.
So what and where is Capitola? Well, just over the hill and located minutes south of Santa Cruz of Highway 1, exit Bay Avenue, Capitola is an easy, fun resort town on the coast of Monterey and boasts a Mediterranean flavor.
Next.
Capitola is built on the location of an Indian village that existed for more than 1,000 years. The native inhabitants were removed to Mission Santa Cruz in 1791, and all traces of the Soquel Rancheria and culture vanished. In the Mexican era that followed, the territory became part of the Soquel Rancho granted to the Castro family. And the original settlement, now known as Capitola, grew out of what was then called Soquel Landing. It got its name from Soquel Creek. The wharf, well known in Capitola, was built in 1857 and served as an outlet for the produce and lumber grown in the interior. In 1869, Frederick A. Hinn, who owned property in the vicinity of the wharf, decided to develop it as a seaside resort. Travelers would come for the cool and smooth beach at the base of Soquel Creek, eventually making it the oldest seaside resort on the Pacific coast. Why go to Capitola? Well, for one, it's really easy to get to. It's about a 40-minute drive from San Jose. The weather is usually sunny with cool mornings and cool evenings. There's a lot to do and see, lots of great food options, and affordable places to spend a night if you are looking for a little more than a day away. And Capitola does observe all COVID protocols while you're there visiting the town. What to do in Capitola? Well, there's a lot to do. Some of our favorites include hiking, and you can hike at New Brighton State Beach, Sea Cliff State Beach, the Forest of Nicene State Parks. Those are just to name a few. Or you can walk locally. There's an urban walk that is about 2 miles with painted murals around Capitola. You can, of course, walk in the village from shop to shop. You can rent boats, fish, surf, snorkel, wine taste, read a book on the beach, all while following their mandated protocols. Not wanting to return home after a fun day away? Well, there are plenty of hotels to choose from, as well as Airbnbs. The Capitola Hotel and the Venetian Cottages are right in the village, as are many other rentals. If you don't mind traveling a little bit and want to get in your car, you can check out the Dream Inn in Santa Cruz or the Seascape in Aptos. These are the famous picturesque Venetian cottages, which are well known for their color and boutique style rooms. The food options in this cozy town are numerous, and some of our favorites include Margaritaville, great for all things Mexican, including the spicy margarita, Zelda's on the Beach for people watching, Sotola Grill and Paradise Beach Grill are great options if you want something a little fancier. You can also get a great cup of coffee or tea at Mr. Toots. Now, other options in the village include Pizza My Heart, the Sandbar, and Britannia Arms. If you want to get in the car and take a drive in town, there are many options there as well. Here's Zelda's on the Beach, and they're basically known for their ocean views and happy hours. The Wharf House is a fun kind of dive bar restaurant at the end of the pier where you can see the locals and grab a beer and a bowl of clam chowder. In the summer months, the rooftop bar does have live music when we're not dealing with a pandemic.
So this is my favorite place. It's called Gail's Bakery, and it's always the first stop we get in town. They have a great system in place during the pandemic. You enter in one way. There is a line, but you enter in. It runs it runs pretty smooth. They have breakfasts and fresh sandwiches and things like that that you could take to go. So one thing you can just buy it there. You could eat on the beach or anywhere outside. And most importantly, they have an outstanding bakery. I'm not a big chocolate guy, so my favorites are the almond croissant and the Lala berry tart. They also have coffee. I think they serve verve there. So this is kind of the only Jewish connection we found to Capitola is that they do have challah and ruvelach when you are there. So feel free to grab that as well.
In Carmel Valley. Spectacular views and more to-dos. There's really no bad view in Capitola. So no matter where you are or what you're doing, you are going to have a gorgeous view of either the village or the water. There are also some great wineries in the area. There's Spore Winery, Bargetto, Armanino, and those are just a few if you want to travel by car. But again, you don't have to leave the village to wine taste. They have 3 tasting rooms, and then they also have an ale house. There are also cute boutiques in the village worth checking out. One of our favorite spots is just being on the pier. The one picture on the left was taken by the railroad tracks looking down on the village, and the other was of us on the pier. And it's just fun to sit or watch or walk and watch people fish and swim. And they have benches and you can sit on the pier. You could get, you know, something from the wharf house and sit down and observe people while they're in the water. But it is just a beautiful spot kind of hang out. Now for a nicer dinner with custom cocktails, we like Sotola Grill, which is located at the corner of the Esplanade in the village. They have a focus on local growers, ranchers, and fisheries. The restaurant is upstairs and they have a quaint patio with gorgeous views. It's actually worth driving over just for lunch or dinner if you don't have time to spend an entire day in Capitola. And then basically a beautiful sunset, the perfect way to end your perfect day in Capitola. For us, it's just easy to get to. We like to stay local in town. Most of everything can be done by foot, and we hope you have an opportunity to go over the hill soon yourselves. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve and Kim. Next, we are traveling to Palo Alto. Oh, first we're going to do the raffle, though. Oliver?
Yep, give me 1 minute. Let me switch it over.
Okay.
Can everybody see? And ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Okay, now we are going to go to Palo Alto and Debbie and Grant Michaels.
You guys are co-host whenever you're ready.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Oliver. Oops. Hi, everybody. Grant and I have been spending time in Palo Alto for as long as we can remember. It's where we would go for date nights when Grant lived in Woodside before we were married. It's where we spent Thanksgiving with cousins who lived around the corner from Steve Jobs in a beautiful neighborhood. And it's where my grandfather went to college at Stanford University. And as a little girl, we'd go there for the football games. And it's where my mom would take me to shop for special occasions when I was younger, before Valley Fair Mall existed. During the pandemic, we've been finding new local places to hike or outdoor restaurants to eat at. And recently we spent a nice day in Palo Alto. When you're looking for a change of scenery and something fun to do that's only 30 minutes from San Jose, consider Palo Alto. It's easy to get to, yet you feel like you're a world away. It's beautiful, charming, dog-friendly, family-friendly, and it offers hiking, art and culture, shopping, and dining. Join us as we share a few things we enjoy doing and seeing in this neighbor city of ours.
We're so fortunate to live in an area where we can hike year-round and have so many great trails. We've always been fascinated by the big satellite dishes you see in Palo Alto when driving along Highway 280. Someone told Debbie you can actually hike to the dish, and it had been on her bucket list for a long time. So Debbie and I picked a Saturday recently, headed up there. We weren't sure where to start the trail, so we used an app we love called All Trails, which allows you to put in locations throughout the world and it shows you all the trails in that area. You'll see the app logo in the picture on the bottom of this slide. The app gives you information such as where to start the hike, the duration, elevation, intensity level, a map, and there are helpful reviews written by hikers as well. Armed with our information, we set off early one Saturday morning and hiked to the Dish. Because of COVID, they've designated the trail one way only, so you follow the designated path. It's approximately 3.8 miles, paved, very scenic, does have a pretty steady climb in the beginning, goes by two of the big satellite dishes, and at the top you can see Palo Alto and the Stanford campus. It took us a little over an hour to do the loop, but we walked pretty quickly, so at a slower pace, I suspect it would take about an hour and 20 minutes.
The next walk I like is the Stanford Campus Walk. This 3.2 mile loop is good for all skill levels and is a beautiful walk through the Stanford campus. You can choose to just walk the route straight through or take your time stopping at various points such as Hoover Tower and Memorial Church for a longer walk. I will caution you that when I recently did this walk with my dear friend and Temple member, Michelle Healy, we were desperate to find a bathroom partway through, and because of COVID, all buildings on the campus are locked or you have to show ID saying that you're a Stanford student or faculty member and you've been approved to enter into the buildings. So just a warning on the bathroom front. If you need a little art fix, the Cantor Art Center is conveniently located right on the Stanford campus with parking right in front and is very family friendly. As you'll see in these photos, I took my niece and two friends to the museum where they checked out an art bag filled with a clipboard, paper, and coloring pencils, and they could sit and sketch whatever inspired them. The museum is a really nice size, not too big and overwhelming, but big enough that it's worth the trip there. And the Rodin Sculpture Garden is a wonderful place to experience Rodin sculptures firsthand in a beautiful outdoor setting. Unfortunately, the museum is currently closed to visitors due to COVID, but many museums are slowly reopening, so watch for updates on the website. But you can still stroll around the sculpture garden and see the Rodin sculptures. For those who like to shop, and even for those of you who don't, there are different shopping venues that are great, even just for strolling around. First, Stanford Mall is located near the campus and is a beautiful outdoor shopping venue. It offers a mix of big department stores, boutique shops, and restaurants.
Downtown University Avenue is fun to stroll as well. Recently it's been closed to vehicles, so it's pedestrian and dog friendly. It offers a great mix of small shops and restaurants for all tastes. There are two farmers markets to enjoy in Palo Alto. The first is held on Saturdays on Gilman Street, right off University Avenue. It's a small market that has a nice offering in the usual farm fresh fruits and vegetables, baked goods, and flowers. The second and bigger farmers market is held on Sundays on California Street, and word has it it's the one that Mark Zuckerberg and a bunch of other Silicon Valley bigwigs go to as well. It has all the usual products plus food trucks and crafts as well.
There are restaurants all over Palo Alto, located at Stanford Shopping Center, downtown on University Avenue, and over on California Street. So we're not going to even try and make a lot of recommendations, with the exception of a couple of our favorites. After a morning hike to the satellite dish, head to Tootsie's at the barn. You can see it right here. For coffee and breakfast. It's a hidden little cafe located off the Stanford Mall on the backside of the Nordstrom Shopping Center. There is outdoor seating on a pretty patio, and they offer coffee, pastries, breakfast items, and a light lunch menu. And it wasn't crowded, as it gets mostly hospital staff from across the way. And in addition, because I'm always worried about the bathrooms, there is a nice clean bathroom inside the main building that you can access. If you're looking for coffee and want to break away from the more commercial coffee houses, you can also try Coupa Cafe, which has two locations in downtown Palo Alto. There was also a Coupa Cafe stand on the Stanford campus near the library when we did our walk, which offered a nice selection of snacks and beverages. Some of you might be familiar with Oren's Hummus, and there's one located on University Avenue. We love their hummus bowl with falafel and Israeli salad on top. Definitely recommend that. And one last recommendation is True Food Restaurant at the Stanford Mall, offering a nice selection of fresh seasonal foods. It's very farm to table.
Another app that is our travel Bible is TripAdvisor. We use it all over the world wherever we travel. You can search restaurants based on food type, location, price range, ratings, fine dining or casual dining, whatever you're looking for. So depending on what you're in the mood for, you can search for all the Palo Alto restaurants using this app. We'll end our presentation with a few Jewish facts about Palo Alto. The large Oshman family JCC and Moldau family residences reside on the Tab Koret campus for Jewish life in Palo Alto. The beginnings of the JCC date back to just the 1960s, when a handful of people would meet in a storefront in El Camino Real.
Another fact is there is a 13-mile eruv, or an Orthodox boundary, in Palo Alto that allows Orthodox Jews to carry items outside their homes on the Sabbath. You can see the map showing the eruv. It took 8 years for the city of Palo Alto to approve the eruv because they had to determine if it was going against the separation of church and state. It's very interesting. You can Google it and read all about it. The Iris and B. Gerald Cantor Center for Visual Arts that we mentioned earlier is named in honor of Iris and B. Gerald Cantor, who were both children of Jewish immigrants, became one of the most important benefactors of fine art in New York, and assembled the world's largest private collection of Rodin sculptures, many of which can be seen at the museum on the Stanford campus. Thank you for coming along on our tour of Palo Alto. We hope you enjoyed it. And we have a gift card for our raffle. We have a gift card to Oren's Hummus for the winner.
Thank you very much, Debbie and Grant. Oliver, why don't you take care of the raffle for Palo Alto?
Okay, here we go. Big winner is Bob Frazier.
Great. Next up is Cheryl and I with West Marin.
Let me go ahead and
All
get you
right.
guys taken care of. And there you go.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I don't think it's well, let's see here. Okay. We chose West Marin because it has plenty of outdoor COVID-friendly activities. It's about a 75-minute drive from San Jose, and it's a playground for foodies. Oops, why isn't this? Having a little trouble here. Where is West Marin? It starts at the southernmost point, just north of the Golden Gate Bridge at Fort Baker. It includes the Marin Headlands, Stinson Beach, the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, Point Reyes, and the northernmost point is Dillon Beach in Tomales Bay. Now, we covered a lot of ground during this weekend, but certainly this can be broken up into a number of smaller trips. Our weekend started on Friday evening at the Mountain Home Inn. It's our third visit to the Mountain Home Inn, and it's a lovely place. We really enjoy it. It has great views, good food, is extremely quiet, and has access to over 60 miles of hiking trails. It was originally built in 1912 and has been added on to since. The next morning was a hike to Muir Woods. The trailhead is right across the street from the Mountain Home Inn. You start in oak-covered chaparral and you wind your way down to Muir Woods, which is, and you follow kind of a redwood-lined trail. The hike itself is about 2 hours. Once you're down in Muir Woods, you are walking along an accessible boardwalk that takes you along Fern Creek and amongst these giant redwoods. Muir Woods is a national landmark and gets about 1 million visitors a year, so normally reservations are required unless you hike into it the way that we did. We hiked back up to the Mountain Home Inn and took about a 20-minute drive down to Stinson Beach. Stinson Beach is 3.5 miles of beach where you can surf, boogie board, walk the dog, look for shells, or just relax. The town of Stinson Beach itself is a short walk from the beach. If you decide to go there and eat, we recommend the Parkside Cafe. If you would like to picnic, you can go to the Stinson Beach Market. They have lots of prepared foods. You can bring it back to the beach, or there's a grassy area just across the street. If you're looking to surf, boogie board, or rent wetsuits, the Stinson Beach Live Water Surf Shop is available for you. We then drove about 25 minutes north to Point Reyes Station. Whoops, wait a minute, that's not Point Reyes Station. There we go, there's Point Reyes Station. About 25 minutes north to Point Reyes Station. It's a cute little town that's the gateway to the Point Reyes National Seashore. Our favorite spots there are the Bovine Bakery and the Cowgirl Creamery. As you can see, there's a grassy area right in front of the Cowgirl Creamery where you can take your purchases from Cowgirl and have a picnic. About 40 minutes north of Point Reyes Station is Tomales Bay. It's an inlet off the Pacific Ocean with very quiet waters. It's surrounded by rural farmland, and oyster farming is the largest industry there. There is the Tomales Bay Oyster Company and the Hog Island Oyster Company where we stopped. Hog Island has a retail and wholesale outlet and an oyster bar in the back. You can see the view that we enjoyed as we sucked down our oysters. The oyster bar itself is a boat cut in half. We then drove about 30 minutes north of that to Dillon Beach to catch the sunset. It's a lot smaller than Stinson Beach, but it's very intimate. Dinner that evening was at the Saltwater Oyster Depot. It is a farm-to-table restaurant with locally sourced food and a 4-course price-fixed meal that was outstanding. It's located across the bay from Tomales. Next morning was a drive up to the east peak of Mount Tamalpais. Once you get to the parking lot at the top, there is a fairly strenuous, about half-mile hike up to an active fire lookout, but the views are 360 degrees and certainly worth the hike. This was the view that we got that morning. You can see San Francisco in the background. There's Angel Island. Tiburon and Belvedere are there as well. After that, we drove down to Fort Baker, which is located just under the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a former military fort that was established in 1902. It currently houses Cavallo Point Restaurant and Hotel and the Bay Area Discovery Museum, which caters to children under 10. There's also a pier at Fort Baker that you can walk out on. You get fantastic views of the Golden Gate Bridge and you can watch people fish and crab. There are also views of the San Francisco skyline from Fort Baker, and there's also other, there are military barracks that you can walk around and view. From there, we drove through the Baker and Berry Tunnel, which was originally built in 1918. It's a one-way tunnel. This light changes every 5 minutes and leads you to Fort Cronkite, where there are other beaches. From there, you can drive up to the Marin Headlands There you will find the Hawk Hill Raptor Observatory, the Nike missile site, which is currently closed due to COVID, more bunkers to walk around, and incredible views. This was the view that we saw that day. Interesting Jewish trivia. In 1946, a rabbi presented a Torah that he discovered on his travels to Czechoslovakia just after World War II to a group of local Jews. He said, "I've come halfway around the world to bring this Torah from the Jewish community that died to a Jewish community that is about to be born." And thus was born the Jewish Community Center in Marin. Our souvenir raffle prize are cheeses from Cowgirl Creamery, crackers from the Rustic Bakery in Petaluma, and San Francisco Bay Area honey. We hope you enjoy your travels to West Marin. Okay, Oliver, you're up with the raffle.
Chance to win this.
Yep.
Watch, wait. It's Cowgirl, the raffle prize. Everyone they have, watch, he spins a.
You ready? Here.
Oh, somebody went to the Cowgirl there.
Here, yeah, see, he spins. All of our names, I guess, are on there. Richard won. Cute.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I
And
on it on there.
last but not least, we are going to take a trip to Murphy's, and the Foxes are going to be our guides.
Murphy's, okay.
Give me 1 sec. And Larry,
We've been there. That's where the,
you should have control now, and you're ready.
there we go, Murphy's in the Gold Country. Yeah, Susie's up there now. They have a cabin.
Foxes, you are muted whenever you're ready.
Okay, welcome to Murphy's in the heart of Gold Country. Murphy's is located in the central Sierra Nevada foothills off of Highway 4, just above Angels Camp, on the way to Bear Valley Ski Resort in Calaveras County. The small white box gives you a sense of where Murphy's is in relation to the other cities. Rich in gold rush history, Murphy's is a vibrant, thriving community alive with wineries, eclectic shops, nice restaurants, charming hotels, and all kinds of cute B&Bs.
Hey, Audrey and Larry, can I interrupt? We can't see your presentation. We see you, your beautiful faces, but we're not seeing your presentation.
So strange.
I see the presentation.
We see the
We're seeing
presentation.
it.
Okay, that must be us. Sorry to interrupt. We weren't seeing it.
We'll go back to it.
No, you're great.
I don't know if you could see it now, though.
You guys can fix that by clicking something in the upper right corner of your screen to switch it out.
But everyone else could see it. Perfect.
Okay, I'm going to go on. In historic downtown is the famous Murphy's Hotel. It opened in 1858 and is the oldest continuously operating hotel in California. Famous guests include Mark Twain, J.P. Morgan, and Ulysses Grant. Murphy's is just a 2.5-hour drive away, and it's a perfect destination, even in a pandemic. We know it well because we've had a cabin up the road in Arnold for many, many years. There is less virus in Calaveras County, but they are very good about following COVID protocols. Murphy's, which I'll just note will be there tomorrow with Joan Fox, who's on the call, has over 30 wine tasting rooms. And Larry and I, yep, we've been to most of them. This one is on Main Street, and as is this one. Milliere is on Main Street, but down at the end of the street, and it's probably our favorite one. It has a very cute patio next to a creek in the back, and we were just there last month with Larry's brother and his wife Karen. This is another winery, Newsom Harlow, and like many of the wineries in Murphy's, it has outdoor seating and tasting. One thing we love about the wineries in Murphy's is that just picture Sonoma and Napa 30 years ago, where you can have a very intimate experience and often chat with the winemaker. That's what it's like at most of these wineries in Murphy's. And if you're not a wine drinker, there's even a beer garden. This is a wonderful spot to picnic and to just sit and sip. One of our favorites is actually one we found pretty recently. It's called Indian Rock Vineyard, and it's 5 minutes or less outside of town. And it's just wonderful grounds and a perfect place to picnic. You pick up your wine from inside, and then you just park yourself out here and look at the lake and the ducks and the vineyards, and it's just really lovely. And here's some more wineries. But you can hopefully get a sense that each of the wineries has its own character. Back in town, there are some adorable shops and great dining options. My personal favorite for shoppings is Christine. They know me very well in there. But don't limit yourself to wine. You can also taste artisan oils and vinegars, and this is just a wonderful little shop with loads of different options. And no trip to Murphy's is complete without a trip to Aria Bakery. Their cinnamon rolls are epic, and they are known for their amazing scones, cookies, and sandwiches. Often we will go pick up our sandwiches here and go bring it to a picnic at a winery. And nearby Angels Camp, so I'm standing next to this frog, is because Angels Camp is the frog jumping capital of the world. And Larry and I have actually been to one of their annual frog jumping competitions. That was unique. A Gold Country institution is Nelson's Candy Kitchen. It is legendary, and it features candies made by 5 generations of the Nelson family using recipes dating from the 1800s. And in addition to all their homemade chocolates, and you can see some of them here, their brittles and fruit jellies are just amazing. That is a must not miss shop. Another very unique shop is the Spice Tin, which you can see Larry standing in front on the left, and on the inside it is just filled with all kinds of spices. And one of their little secret finds is special pesto sauce made by a local person that is just to die for. But the big time must not miss is Joe Ma's homemade ice cream. It is out of this world. They started making their ice cream in their garage. And now every time you go, there is a line around the block, but it is worth the wait. So delicious. And there's just so many interesting shops in Murphy's. This is their local toy store, which when our kids were little, every visit to Murphy's needed to have a stop at that store. And then one of my other favorites is a really cute kitchen store, and I'm in there probably every time we go through Murphy's. There are loads of charming restaurants in Murphy's, which all now offer outdoor seating. And here we are just a few weeks ago having lunch at one of our faves right on Main Street. And now for your Jewish fun fact. Albert Michelson, a Jewish American physicist and winner of the Nobel Prize for Physics, emigrated from Germany to California in 1855 at the age of 2 and grew up in Murphy's. There are just so many cute spots to stay in Murphy's. Here are a few, and Airbnb has lots of options too. These two are right downtown, walking distance from all the shops we showed you, and you can see they're just adorable. This one is actually just outside of town, but the views are stunning and the place is just gorgeous. It's called the Courtwood Inn. Now, just a short drive away from Murphy's are all kinds of outdoor activities, including hiking, fishing, cycling, golfing, and even gold panning. If you spend the night and want to see more of the Gold Country, we recommend heading up the highway towards Arnold, which is just 15 minutes away from Murphy's. On the way, you absolutely have to stop at this place called the Red Apple. You could easily drive right past it. It's been there forever, but it is just wonderful. They offer loads of apples from their own orchard, all different varieties, as well as freshly baked apple cider donuts. Those are a huge hit. And then our personal favorite, the apple fritters. Oh my God, they're so good. And we love all the great hiking in the area. This is a picture from the Arnold Rim Trail. You can check out the Arnold Rim Trail website for lots of options, all of which have these incredible views. And this hike that we're on is called Top of the World on the Rim Trail, and the views are just stunning. They even offer a sunset hike we've done that is just tremendous. 4 more miles up Highway 4 and you'll be at Big Tree State Park, home of the giant sequoia. More gorgeous hiking and scenery. We've spent a lot of time there. And if you're lucky, oh, here's us on more hiking, us and our son. And if you're lucky, you may just see wildlife. Maybe a deer or a bobcat or even a bear, which, believe it or not, we have seen with our own 2 eyes. But this is our cabin. And of course, this box came to the right house. Have fun in Murphy's.
Thank you very much, Audrey and Larry. Oh, I'm sorry. You still have your
This is our gift pack for the raffle. And you'll see it includes wine from Moliere, our favorite winery, some olive oil and vinegar from the cute shop we showed you, fruit jellies from the candy store, and mustard and some other things from the kitchen store. So let's see who won.
Thank you again, Audrey and Larry. And Oliver, why don't you go ahead and run the raffle for the prize?
Here we go.
Okay, well, great. I want to thank you all for joining us. I would also like to thank the Mockneys, the Jackmans, the Michaels, and especially the Foxes for putting this wonderful idea together. And would like to thank Oliver for making sure that this went absolutely smoothly. Thank you very much for running the raffle. And I'm sure Oliver will get the link out to the Google Drive where you can look at each one of these presentations separately.
Yep, I will be getting out to you guys here shortly. If you do not get an email from me, just go ahead and shoot me an email and I'll get back to you. My email is Oliver at templesanjose.org. So pretty easy. And any other questions or anything, shoot them my way and I can pass them along to all the presenters.
Yeah, thank you everyone who put this together.